Hello, good morning. Hi, it's a little high. My name is Mirko Lalli. I'm the CEO and founder of Data. We are one of the sponsors of this event. And I would like to introduce today how a destination have to work to be data-driven and with a very special story from the Italian National Tourist Board. And there is Maria Elena Rossi. She will speak after me. I will make the introduction, and that's very easy. Just a few words about the company. This is not a presentation of the company, of course. If you are curious of what we do for Destination, we have a very big stand just downstairs, so come talk to us. Just 2 words. I always choose democratize and simplify because it's what we do. So we want to empower destination through data, and democratize means that they have to be affordable in terms of course, economic sustainability, and even a small destination may have the possibility to afford that, and simplify speaks for itself. Simplify is because we want to help destination even if they do not have specific skill, for example, or internal data scientists to leverage on data. And I choose for that presentation 5 trends, 5 mega trends, 5 steps for a destination to have to follow to be data-driven, and at the end, 5 data. Of course, it's a marketing thing, 5, 5, 5. But I think we'll flow very, very fast, and then I leave the stage to Maria Elena. Why I choose 5 trends? Because in any of these trends, there is a new form of data. There is a new opportunity in term of data that you may produce. And what are those 5 mega trends? The digitalization of the tourism industries will not stop. According to Euromonitor, in 2026, 74% of every transaction will be online, but we have not to talk about online. It's quite obvious, of course, so it's normal. Like every technology, when the technology disappears, there is the real empowerment of the industry. And the tourism sector, especially destination, are ready for this new changing of behavior of the travelers. It's exactly the same for when you think about sustainability. Literally, in any event, starting 2 years ago, you heard sustainability hundreds of times. It's becoming a sort of a buzzword. Of course, it's important. Sustainability, globally, it's roughly 5% of the total emission of carbon dioxide from tourism industry. It's important to put in perspective because the tourism industry, it's weighed a lot in the production of carbon dioxide, but if you compare to all other industries, it's in this image from The Economist, it's just air travel. Of course, is important. Does not mean there is not important to reason in terms of sustainability, but putting in perspective, sustainability is most important because is like reaching a virtuous balance between local inhabitants and tourists. And this important sustainability because it's part of the positioning. So being sustainable is not just being having more attention to the environment, of course it is, but it's like using a lot of other leverages like local identity, meet local people, and having a balance between tourists and the inhabitants. This is quite fun because while we start working with Data with a financial institution was pretty fresh. And right now, there is a completely mesh up. Travel tech and field tech are sort of collapsing. You see there is a lot of adopting some business model from fintech in the travel tech space. So buy now, pay later, the insurance inside our app, so it's sort of mesh up for two huge sectors. And just think in terms of data, for example, the spending, what's mean for analyzing the behavior of the travelers. Of course, the super app. This is quite, fresh in Europe. There is not a dominant super app like in the Far East, where there is a lot of apps you can see in the slides. Actually, Elon Musk declared they want to transform Twitter in a super app. I don't know. Right now, they are discussing about the cost of the blue verification sign, from 19 to 8 seems. So I don't know if he really will have the strength to make a super app. I think it's something to keep in mind, because a super app is another distribution channel, of course, and it's quite powerful. If you, for somebody of you that doesn't know the app that I mentioned before, Grab, WeChat, Gojek, Line, Uber, of course, just take a look of what they do, even in terms of distribution for collateral offers for what they before born in the beginning. And of course the metaverse, but from a completely different perspective, for two reasons. First, I think the metaverse will become really relevant in the travel industry, probably in some years. And like any technology, like I said before, will gain up momentum while the frictions disappears. And today you have to wear a complex apparatus for entering the metaverse. I don't really feel confident that will change anything today. Of course, it's a revolution. Think of that in a revolution that will come very soon. But on the other hand, which Accenture call the metaverse the unreal, just think how will be relevant the real identity. So authenticity is the new North Star. And I think it's something that we have to follow, especially in tourism. I chose these 5 trends. Here, just a recap for, make order for what I said before. And 5 steps for a destination to be data-driven. I find always fun that only 27% of data that companies and destinations collect are actually used. So there is a lot of data that you may use, but it's really hard. It's a Forrester data. It's really hard to use them. This is the reason why we talk about simplify. First step. I spoke every day with a lot of destinations. There is a sort of data dilemma. So which data I have to use? Big data, telephonic data, spending data, or we make survey. Doesn't matter. You have to change your mindset. So I don't think you have to start using data. You have to start taking decisions based on data. And remember, big data are, of course, powerful and cool, but small data are better than no data. So just start using data. You have a lot of data, even internal data in your destination. Act on it, not on your gut. Today it's very easy to find and to take decision also on qualitative data. Just take a look at what we do. Can visit to our stand. It's very easy to understand what French people like, what Spanish people like, how to move into destination. So not only numbers about, how many people are coming, but what they want to do. What is the customer behavior? What is the customer intention? What is their desire? What they prefer? And it's just imagine what you can do while you are drafting your next strategy with those data. Of course, it's again, are not expensive, they are not difficult to obtain. This is one of my classics, because I always say that everything is tourism. What does it mean? Just think as your experience while you're experiencing a experiencing a trip. in a destination. So you are interacting with the destination, not only with hotels, with an experience, with something that is touristically characterized. So everything is tourism because you interact with a destination while you make gas for your car, while you shop in any retailer in the destination. So, and you produce data. So this is the reason why we analyze the destination as a whole. We call it an holistic approach. So a normal bias is to have data about a destination analyzing only the hotel, or only vacation rental, only a sector of the destination itself. Why do not analyze everything? And still, that is possible, it's easy, and it's not so expensive. Of course, everything is not measurable. We hope, we would like to, but everything is not measurable. But for some dimension, very complex dimension that are difficult to measure, you may find a proxy. And you may have a model, an AI model, for example. You may use machine learning to use other sources of data that you can cross together to have proxy. For example, we have several proxies for measuring complex dimension that are very difficult to figure it out in a different way. For example, we have a destination sustainability index. There is a way to assess how the destination is really sustainable. Today, every destination that declares itself sustainable is a sort of self-assessment. You fill out a form, and you receive a badge about, the green something certification about your destination. How is possible to benchmark that if you declare by yourself? So we try to use a proxy for assessing that from different sources. We presented last week an inclusivity index, for example, to measure with the same methodology, with different sources of data, how the destination could be inclusive in terms of LGBTQ travel, for example, but not only, in terms also of accessibility. So an inclusivity is a complex dimension, difficult to measure by itself directly. Find a proxy for measuring that. Empower stakeholders through data. What does it mean? I heard a lot of projects of making what so-called touristic observatories. In Europe, it's very fancy. Everybody wants to have their own observatory. But instead of using by your own, so using your own observatory to, of course, it's the first step. Of course, it's important. Of course, it's fine. But try to imagine to give back those data to the whole chain of value, to the whole, to every operators in the destination. And this is the case that will speak after me with Maria Elena Rossi, that will tell everybody the experience of National Tourist Board in producing what is called Tourism Digital Hub. There is something like that. You can tell us later. Let me finish. Last step, very quick. Simplify. I mentioned the word simplify a lot, though. Can you bring back? Thank you. I used the word simplify a lot before because I think it's our responsibility of all the companies that analyze data to not do it like that. So to provide to the destination something that is really actionable. And you, as a destination, I hope there is some destinations in this room, select your suppliers in that directions. If the data are not understandable, if the data are not actionable, so you cannot take action directly after seeing the data, change provider, change suppliers. This is a recap, if you want to make a photo for the recap for the 5 steps. And I would like to not tell you directly the last step, talking about data. We have set up an entire presentation about using, this is our platform, using data about Seville. You can come visit us to our stand later, so we can show you a little more extensive here, because I would like to give as much time as possible to Maria Elena for telling us the experience of Tourism Digital Hub. Elena, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mirko, and I hope also voila, my presentation will be ready. Well, thank you for giving us this opportunity of presenting what we consider the most innovative process we are living in, which is the Tourism Digital Hub. It's a project which has been financed by the Next Generation EU, and it's on the go. And what I would like to present today in particular is what is the framework we are in, what is our approach, what is the strategy where we are, and the roadmap. I think it is a very ambitious project, and Mirko has of course raised some of the questions that the destination have. Fragmentation, very little knowledge of using data, so data-driven, again, it's something that we should not use, so because we know it's still a very big challenge for a destination such Italy, and not only, I know. So what is the context, what is the framework? We know that the framework is the transition pathway of the EU, and it mentions as the three main pillars: regulation and governance, green and digital transition, and resilience. These three pillars are the baseline for the Tourism Digital Hub, which we we have started to develop. Just a few information for those who don't know any data about Italy. This is a very basic one and concerns just a dimension of the tourism phenomenon in Italy. Italy is the third destination in Europe in terms of values and volumes, but if we look a bit inside these data, we realize that, for instance, Italy is the first destination for an extra-European as an extra-European destination, for extra-European, sorry?
Sadly, after Spain.
Yes, yes, but exactly. If we look inside, it is the first destination for extra-Europeans in Europe, so it is much further than Spain, and it is only second to Spain when we talk about international arrivals, so actually after Spain and before France. But the real challenges, of course, is the idea of trying to reduce the huge and enormous gap which exists between the digitalized world and the digitalized tourists and the little digitalization of all the tourism sector, which is made of thousands and thousands of stakeholders who are actually not capitalizing on digitalization and on the platform society. We live in a platform society, and we have been living in platform society for quite a few years, and destinations in particular have not taken advantage at all of the opportunities of becoming data-driven and of using platforms to their own advantage. And this is something that is real key, because what are the principles of a platform society we're living in? First of all, it's data. Datification. Everything has become data today. And this is the great opportunity. The second principle of platform societies and of platforms is commodification, so selling data. And this is what main platforms we very well know use in order to make revenues. The third principle is moderation. And this is where, when you are a public entity and you are a destination, you should very well work at, because you do use data, but you can also moderate, and you can choose based on data what you would like to present as a destination or your platform. It's not only commodification, but it's conveying values. And we were talking about inclusion, we were talking about sustainability. I think that's the real difference between what we can do as destinations when we have a more higher objective in order to convey the right messages to the tourists. And this is what we are trying to do with the Tourism Digital Hub. It's a very ambitious project, as I said, financed by the EU. And it wants to become a bridge between destinations and all the experiences and the offers, the local offers, and the tourist himself. What is our approach? We have an agile approach, which means that we are delivering and releasing products gradually, but they're all products which work from the start. But the other principle, which we are learning from the platform society, you learn. You learn every day, you learn through data, and this means that these products that we are releasing are continuously improving, thanks also to co-creation. So one of the other principles we have of the Tourism Digital Hub is co-creation with all the stakeholders, both the private and the public stakeholders. And this improves, of course, cost and time management. At the core of this Tourism Digital Hub is the Interoperability Protocol, which means that we are creating an open ecosystem which allows all regions, local administration, the private stakeholders to use through APIs a common language which supports the exchange and the use of data, information, and also to convey all and transmit all the relevant data through one single language, which are APIs, basically. And this protocol is really at the heart of the Tourism Digital Hub. Co-creation, I said, and collaboration at the center of the process again. It means that we have been involving all the private and the public sector through focus groups in order to understand and also to develop the Interoperability Protocol. And we also have been launching public calls, which are now online, and which mean that we are calling for especially the public, but also the private sector, to work with us on several, on contents, on co-branding activities, and on other projects that we can co-create with them. So this is what we call the customer journey. So the Tourism Digital Hub doesn't want to replace, let's say, all the platforms which are already existing, but it wants somehow to be present in all the different stages of the customer journey of the tourist, from awareness to advocacy, growth, and loyalty. What are the products that we are releasing? A web portal, the mobile app, a data lake, which then will create a dashboard, the chatbot, a media house, the digital marketing campaigns, as I said, the interoperability platform, CRM, loyalty program, and tax refund. So these are the initial outcomes this year. The project has just started at the beginning of the year. So we have started with the launch of the chatbot in March to provide information for COVID-19 to the tourists. We launched the web portal, and also we started then with the marketing campaigns in June. In July, the CRM and the protocol, the interoperability protocol, and the next important step, hopefully becoming the big app we're talking about will be the mobile app, which will be released in February. I understand that we are late. I thought we had 40 minutes, but
late.
We only have 20.
Well, we cut off the questions, maybe.
Yes,
make the
yes.
offline.
If there are any questions, of course, we are there for you to answer them. It's a process. We are, as we say, in a transition time. We have got a lot to learn, and I think this is the positive side of our times, of technology which adapts, improve, and they learn themselves and they support the policy. We are also living in very uncertain times, and this and the flexibility is one of the other aspects which allows us to be as flexible as possible in order for our sector to grow and to thrive. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know if you have time for questions. It's finished? Okay. No, that's very mandatory. Thank you.